Ah, Thailand, a place known for its stunning beaches, vibrant markets, and of course, its deeply rooted supernatural folklore. Today's story comes from a viewer who thought her quick trip with friends to the land of smiles would be nothing but fun and adventure. What she didn't expect was to encounter something far from the typical tourist experience, something that would leave her questioning the very room she stayed in. Let's dive in.
Last fall break, my friends and I went to Thailand for a quick getaway. We found this small budget hotel in a quiet area, and at first everything seemed fine. But when we got to our room, I noticed something odd. A small toy ball under the bed. I thought it was weird but didn't make a big deal of it. We had a packed day ahead, so I just pushed it aside and we left to explore. That night, after a long day of sightseeing, we grabbed dinner at a night market, seafood and some Thai beer. Feeling a little tipsy but not ready to call it a night, we stopped at a 7-Eleven for some wine to drink back at the hotel. Back in the room, we talked and laughed about silly ghost stories we'd heard. None of us really believed in that stuff, but it was fun to get spooked. Eventually, we went to bed. I woke up in the middle of the night, maybe from a noise or just feeling unsettled. The TV was still on, so I turned it off and lay back down, trying to sleep. But a few minutes later, it flicked back on by itself. I thought maybe the remote was jammed or something. I looked over at my friend in the next bed to see if she'd noticed, but she was lying still, eyes open. I whispered her name, but she didn't answer. I moved closer, and that's when I realized she wasn't just lying there. She was staring at me, not blinking. Before I could say anything, I heard the sound of water running. The bathroom faucet was on, and I knew neither of us had used it. I turned off the water, but when I came back, all the pillows were on the floor. My friend was still lying there, not moving. I shook her, trying to wake her up, but she didn't respond. She just kept staring and then, slowly, smiled at me. I started to panic. I ran to the door, but it wouldn't open. The windows creaked open, and a gust of wind rushed into the room. My friend, still lying there, started laughing softly. I finally managed to open the door and ran down the hallway to find help, but the whole hotel seemed empty. The reception was dark, and when I knocked on my other friends' doors, no one answered. I waited outside until morning. When the hotel staff finally helped me back into the room, they found my friend on the floor, still asleep. It took a while to wake her up. When she finally came to, she told me she'd felt like something heavy was sitting on her chest all night and that she couldn't move. She thought she'd been awake, but her body wouldn't respond. We packed up and moved to another hotel. That day. Later, while we were having breakfast at a local cafe, the waitress asked us where we were staying. When I mentioned the hotel, she gave me a look and said, "Locals know that hotel has a haunted room." Turns out we had stayed in that room. She told us next time we should knock on the door before entering and always ask permission to stay peacefully. And if we see something out of place, like a toy, it's a sign to get out.
It's one thing to hear ghost stories from locals or read about haunted hotels in travel blogs. It's quite another to find yourself trapped in one with no easy way out. What started as a fun fall break quickly turned into a chilling experience that left our viewer with more questions than answers. And then, of course, there's the local knowledge. Thailand is steeped in superstition. And as our viewer learned, there are traditions for a reason. Next time you check into a hotel in unfamiliar territory, you might want to remember this advice. Knock before you enter, and always watch out for signs that something's off. What do you think? A classic case of sleep paralysis or something more? Let us know in the comments.